Hello and welcome to Theatre.Reviews with Paul Seven. I'm here at the Gillian Lynne Theatre to see the Lehman Trilogy. Lehman Brothers Inc. was the highest profile bankruptcy of the 2008 financial crash. Of course, there were bigger investment banks in America that played an even bigger part in the collapse of the financial markets. And many banks in the UK as well as the US ended up being bailed out with our money. But it was important that someone got punished, and Lehman was not quite in the category of too big to fail. Now, we're all still suffering from that collapse and subsequent bailout, of course, but at least one good thing came out of it. The Lehman Trilogy. It began, as so many great shows have, at the subsidised National Theatre, went on to the West End, then to Broadway, and now it's back in the West End, at the Gillian Lynne Theatre, with a new cast. So, do they measure up to the originals? And what is it that has made a play about a subject as dry as finance such a huge success? The Lehman Trilogy asked the question, how did a company as important and powerful as the Lehmans end up being so reckless and destructive? To find out, we travel back to when Henry Lehman and his two younger brothers first came to America, back in 1844. It's an epic story told on a large stage, and at the centre is a huge box in which the action takes place. Parts of the box are glazed, and the inside is divided into spaces by glass. It's the kind of modern, characterless glass office occupied by financial institutions everywhere. It's decorated with lots of boxes used for transporting files, memorably seen as sacked employees carried them out of the building with their belongings in them. We start with the moment that Lehman's went bust. Everything that happens in the 164 years leading up to that moment takes place within that space. So we never forget where we're heading. At the back and sides of the stage, designer Es Devlin has placed a semicircular wall onto which projects appropriate landscapes that give us a visual context. The cotton fields of Alabama that provided the Lehmans with their first trading opportunity, to the skyscrapers of New York. As I said, the scale of the story is epic. The set feels epic. Yet, amazingly, just 3 actors play not only those 3 brothers, but the succeeding generations, and everyone they come in contact with. They tell us the story, and act it out, sometimes without even carrying out the actions they're describing. I mean, at one point a character says about himself, he adjusts his tie, but he doesn't actually do it. Our own imagination creates the epic story. Myriad characters come and go, often briefly, but vividly sketched. The actors, without changing costumes, become children, brides-to-be, cotton farmers, and many more. This leads to a lot of comedy, but it also means they never quite stop being, nor can we forget, those immigrant brothers who started it all. It's the purest kind of acting that relies not on props or costumes, but entirely on voice and body. And they speak a rhythmic language that verges on poetry, or perhaps more accurately, rap. In fact, much of this play's power comes from Ben Power's adaptation of Stefano Massini's Italian original script. It's a Brechtian way of telling a story, interesting, funny and gripping, but not emotionally involving, and that's reinforced by it taking place within the glass box. So we always see that this is a story not of a family, but of American capitalism. And it's an acting tour de force from Michael Balogun, Hadley, Fraser and Nigel, Lindsay. There's one wonderful moment I remember when Hadley Fraser plays 8 different potential brides in rapid succession. Or the same actor, who I would have to say was the first among equals, briefly plays a man described as someone whose body is built around his smile. And it is. So in 3 acts, we see the brothers committed to their Alabama community, trading in actual goods, cotton, buying, selling and transporting it, and helping rebuild the cotton trade after a disastrous fire. And at first you admire their ability also to see disasters as opportunities. But the new generation, born in America, begin to forget their Jewish roots. Shiva, when the first brother dies, lasts 7 days. The next Only 3 days. And then, so anxious are they not to close the business that there's only 3 minutes silence for the last of the brothers. Money becomes all important. They no longer trade in something physical. They never see the cotton or coffee or iron or other commodities. And they trade in shares, not products. And as new generations succeed the old, the Lehmans become shareholders, not partners. So they've much less to lose, and the risks they take become much greater. After a period of regulation following the Wall Street crash, the American idea of liberty, so inspiring but also so potentially damaging, re-emerges, and the scene is set for the final disaster. It's a salutary tale that makes you admire these entrepreneurs, then despise the heartless money grabbers that they become, while laughing at the sheer lunacy of the world of finance. In the third act, the final Lehman dies, without any of them having suffered the consequences of their actions. It's others that take the company and the financial world over the edge. But not before a moment when a metaphor of dancing sees the last of the Lehmans, again it's Hadley Fraser, no longer making decisions but simply standing on a table doing the twist as the computer coding spins across the back projection, showing the algorithms that have taken over from human beings, making him and his colleagues more and more money, but taking them further and further away from the real world. It is literally dizzying. As dizzying, no doubt, as the bankers found it trying to understand their own complicated and ultimately worthless financial packages, as they found out when the music stopped. A special word of praise to the video designer Luke Halls. Now, this may not be a story that you get emotionally involved in, but this is theatre at its finest, thanks to director Sam Mendes and his writers. If you haven't already seen it, don't miss this opportunity. I give the Lehman Trilogy 4 stars. I hope you found this review interesting. Please comment, like, and please subscribe, because then you'll be the first to know about my future reviews. If you want to read what I've said, then go to Theatre.Reviews, and you can follow me on Mastodon, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Thank you for watching.